after 2 weeks, he called me and wanted to come back home. And I said, well, what changed? And he said the Holy Spirit dealt with him the night before. Like the mighty counselor, right? Just comes to you when you're, still and quiet. He said he was sober and sleeping alone, and the Holy Spirit asked him 3 questions. What about the alcoholism? Where are you going to be in 5 years if you continue this? What about the cocaine abuse? Where are you going to be if you continue with this in 5 years? And what about the adultery? And my husband kept saying, well, I would be destroyed. Who came to kill, steal, and destroy? Satan. Who loves you, John? God. The final question was, who else loves you, John? And John was able to speak out loud, revelation knowledge. My wife loves me. Oh my gosh, my wife loves me, because he saw that for 11 months, when he was trying to destroy everything, I was showing him unconditional love.
Now, Erika, what was it like for you, kind of growing up with this whole kind of environment?
Yeah, well, I was 3 when they actually got back together, and at first it was difficult. It wasn't. God dealt with a lot of his issues right away, and then a lot of it took a long time, and so there was some anger and some insecurity and instability and anxiety as they were trying to work these things out. But as they became more loving towards each other and more godly, that translated into security and peace. And I just feel now so blessed to have been in a family, even though it wasn't perfect the whole time, that a family where they decided it was worth fighting for. And I'm in a position that a lot of my friends aren't in, which made me, when my mom decided to write the book, she'd wanted to write it since I was a little girl. And then once I'd graduated from college and was in a position to help, I just went, this is important for my generation, for your generation, for hope, telling their story. Their story had ministered to so many people, so many couples had come back together after hearing their story, that it was like, man, if we had this book just full of stories that could just get all over the nation, all over the world, this could be so powerful in giving hope to people who don't think there's any hope.
And do you think so? Because I've read that your generation does not want to get married. They look at marriages around them and say, I don't want anything to do with that.
No, they don't, because the divorce rate is over 50%, and so they go, my odds are terrible, because they think, I've got a 50-50 shot. But the truth is that there are so many resources out there. There's so many classes where people can build their odds, and they can gain skills and communication and tools so that their odds are much, much better. Your odds aren't automatically 50-50. You can decrease your odds of divorce hugely and set yourself up for success in marriage, even though the society's odds are bad. Yours don't have to be.
Now, in Can My Marriage Be Saved, you've got 20-some-odd stories in here of people who are going through some serious issues in their relationship. Yeah. That, from looking on the outside, sometimes you see marriages that dissolve and think, well, that probably could have been, saved. But some of these stories, you think, if looking from the outside, there's just no hope. Right. How did you kind of compile these, and maybe what are some of the ones that really stand out to you?
I'm going to let Erika take that too. She did most of the research and connected directly with most of the couples.
Right. I spent a year researching and putting these together. We found marriage ministries that were already established and credible, and we went through them to get the stories so they weren't just random people. And there were marriages that had been saved and healed and doing well for several years. And so they're already kind of solid and established. And couples that have been working with other couples to help them, using their own story to help others come along. And so basically it was finding a ministry and then them going, oh, there's another great ministry here, and a lot of networking that happened. And because people involved in marriage ministry and who have been there are so passionate about it, they are connected with people who are passionate about it, and they heard the idea and they got so excited. Everybody wanted to be involved, and we just believe that the Lord gave us the right stories because they deal with all kinds of issues: adultery, alcoholism, the loss of a child, codependency, everything you could think of, because each story is about 10 pages long, so you can, no matter what you're going through, you can find something in there that will relate to you.
Where you are.
Right, exactly.
That's good. Now, what advice would you have for people watching today that say, okay, I know you have 20 stories in there, but you don't know my story. This really is hopeless, and feeling like there's no way that they could ever fix this marriage. What would you be able to say to them that would encourage them?
I would say to them that, the first step is the same thing I had to do, and that's go to the Lord and say, God, examine my heart and show me if there's anything I need to do to change and to just make sure I'm right with the Lord. And then if you're right with the Lord, then you're right with other people. and then work on those kinds of things. I mean, I got so close to the Holy Spirit during this time and asked the Holy Spirit, Lord, help me to speak to my husband in ways that he can hear, ways that he can hear love. Let me know what to do to show him love, to really get close with the Holy Spirit that way. There are no guarantees that your spouse is going to come back. However, when you start operating in love and you stop that cycle of conflict and you start putting love back into that cycle of conflict instead of conflict versus conflict, it's amazing how you can begin to change that dynamic of the relationship.
Now, SavedMarriageNetwork.com is the website. What can people find, folks that are watching right now, that need, you know, that find that link and to find that help and find those resources? What can they find on the website?
Well, all of the ministries that are listed in our book, there are direct links to their websites there. There are lots of different articles and video clips and audio clips connected to different issues. We list different issues that you might have in your marriage. And certainly you can purchase the book on Save Marriage.
Any references to counseling resources that they might find geographically in their area?
There's a counseling search page, actually, which gives lots of different search pages for counselors all over. And another thing on the website right now we just added is if you put in your email address, you get a free download of my mom and dad's story right away, which is the first chapter of the book. So that's like a free part of the book right away.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, we want to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And if you'd like to connect with May and Erika, again, their website is SavedMarriageNetwork.com. You can also find an easy link at our website, harvest-tv.com. If you click on Show Info in the menu bar, it'll take you right to their website, as well as picking up a copy of Can My Marriage Be Saved? Just a fantastic, fantastic resource if your relationship or someone you know is kind of having a little bit of a rocky time.